deep. Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At OnSide Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Hey, it's Toast. Last year when I had PGT custom windows and doors installed in my house by B&T Windows and Doors, I knew about the hurricane protection. What I didn't know? The silence. Oh my goodness, my house is so quiet now. One of those cars goes tearing down the street with the crazy loud muffler. Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. It's unbelievable. I didn't realize how noisy my house was beforehand. You've got to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your pad today. Call B&T Windows and Doors, 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
When you're tired of watching the sun damage your furniture or raise your electric bill, it's time to do what we did here at OnSideRadio.com studio. Call A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise. A Shade Above Window Fashions has a great selection of blackout shades to choose from. We can almost create a complete blackout for your bedroom or media room. Call them at 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashion.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your OnSide Radio E-Report with Michael Christian.
With PlayStation 5s more widely available, Sony has just released a new pair of controllers that look absolutely beautiful. The 2 new controllers are Cosmic Red and Midnight Black. Now, you may be wondering, why didn't they release these controllers sooner? And I'm assuming that's because they were really focused on making sure they had enough of the consoles out there. As many of you know, the consoles were very hard to find for a very long time, and PlayStations have now become so widely available that I would say most of the player base who wanted one now has one. But if you do have a PlayStation 5, make sure to check out GameStop, Amazon, or Best Buy because these 2 new controllers are absolute fire.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the OnSide Radio E-Report. It's time for the fans to take over. OnSideRadio.com presents Miami sports music for the fans. The show dedicated to those who follow South Florida teams with a true passion. Here's your host, Stephen D.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Stephen D. Super excited to be here with y'all this evening. I'm super excited for the guest that I have on today. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure anybody who is watching live right now on Facebook, I need you guys to go to do 2 things. Number 1, make sure you hit that like button. That's the first thing I need you to do, right? Second thing I need you to do, make sure you go hit subscribe to OnSide Radio. That's right. And look, if you guys missed any of the awesome episodes that we had last week, if you guys look above here, you'll see you can download the show on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And there's a lot of other places too, like Podbean. Absolutely amazing. You guys can download all the episodes for Miami Sports Music for the fans. I am super excited tonight. Before I bring on the guest that we're going to have on tonight, I just want to briefly discuss a couple of things because this show is about the fans. So the number 1 topic that was asked of me and on social media all day today was, what do I think about Melvin Ingram and Julio Jones potentially being a Miami Dolphin. Melvin Ingram was in the building today in South Florida, the linebacker from the I want to say the San Diego Chargers. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. And what I have to say is it brings me a lot of joy to see that middle linebacking core or that linebacking core get beefed up. My hope is that, he's supposed to go visit, I believe, Kansas City too. And I'm not sure where else he's supposed to go, but my hope is that Chris Greer does his job and is able to close that deal, because if we could get him in the linebacking core, that would be great. And as far as Julio Jones is concerned, hey, look, you look at Julio Jones and you look what he's done over the course of his career, you have to realize that, hey, Julio Jones is somebody who can make a difference on this football team. So I would love to see that. I think the fans would, but we're going to be able to talk a lot about that as the weeks come on, and we'll see what happens with Melvin Ingram as the week goes on. But we're not talking about football today, or at least not the American kind, okay? What we're doing today is we're talking about football. We're talking about the kind that is in with the home of OnSide Radio, Miami Inter CF in the building. I'm truly excited. Look, here's the honest part of it. I don't know a lot about soccer, right? I know that I enjoy watching it every 4 years with the World Cup. I know that as soon as I found out David Beckham was going to help be a part of this team in Miami, I was super stoked, right? And the other thing is I've gotten to know the game a lot. I say a lot. That's bad choice of words. I've gotten to know this game. I've learned as much as I could throughout the last couple of years, right? And so soccer for me has definitely been something to watch. And here's the reality, and I hope nobody takes offense to this. Ted Lasso, the show on Apple TV, has been a big help to me too, because it's made me want to watch the game. And so things like that definitely help. And then obviously being part of OnSide Radio, Miami Inter CF. I mean, look, this team can make the playoffs. This team can make a deep run. And I want to see that happen. Inter Miami CF. All right. I'm going to get it right, Max. I see you behind the scenes shaking your head. I got you, man. I got you. All right. So without further ado, let's bring our guest on to the show today. Max Ramos of I have to say this, the Siege Supporters Club, correct?
Yes, sir. And dude, you kept saying Miami Inter. Like, no. You were doing everything right. Even the CF you were doing correct, which most people flip over to FC.
Correct.
But it was like you almost got there. And then also Ted Lasso, absolutely, excuse me, amazing show. I binge watched it in one day, and I can't wait for the second season.
The second season's like July 23rd, bro. Like Apple's not paying me, but I'm straight up ready for the second season.
Oh, I'm hyped. Absolutely hyped.
All right. Well, look, for those of you who don't know, let me kind of break this down. So for a lot of people who know Miami sports music and a lot of people who know the term fan club is what you'll hear a lot. You will not hear that with Inter Miami CF groups, I guess is what I want to say. You'll hear support group. So I guess the first thing, and I eventually want to rewind. So what I want to talk about is that first, because I know that's a big thing. Why is it a support group and not a fan club?
It's a supporters group. Support group.
See?
It's a little different. Well,
it depends. If you guys are losing, then it's a support group. Trust me. Because that's what fan clubs are when the Dolphins are losing.
Yeah. Can we not talk about Saturday, please? No. So supporters group is a little bit different because what a supporters group is supposed to be more is that you live for the game, for the sport, and for your club on a day-to-day basis. It's not just like with the Dolphins. It's so Sunday afternoon, Sunday nights, Monday nights, depending on when the game is. It's not with college football where everything is about Saturday. It's about every waking moment, pretty much. Like you're thinking about it. You're talking with your friends about it. You're talking to other fans about it, and really supporting the club. Not so much it's not you being a fan of something, it's you being a part of something. And that's really the biggest difference I have found in being a football fan, a soccer fan, whatever you want to call it. And really that it shows like probably the closest thing in American sports I can truly think of is college sports, where a student of a university roots for their team literally because they kind of pay for it in a way. And their identity and a lot of about them comes from that, from where they go to school, where they live based off that. Or if the team is a regional team, like, I don't know, like one of the New England teams, it's like it's saying about your whole area. I guess that's the closest thing I can say in American sports to football fandom, soccer fandom, whatever you want to call it.
All right. I want to get back into that again, but let's hit the rewind. As I like to say with all my friends, let's get back into the DeLorean. Let's hit 88 miles an hour and let's go back in time. Mm-hmm. Tell me from the beginning, Max. Like it's not like you just woke up one morning and was like, "Oh, I'm a soccer fan and I like this sport or I like this game over other." Like, where did your love come for soccer?
Well, I have a little bit of a non-traditional route to being a soccer fan because I'm from a Cuban family. We're Miami born and bred, like been here for a few generations already. I grew up on mainly football, baseball, which was the love of that came from my grandparents, and honestly, soccer came later. It came when, honestly, my earliest memory of a soccer game ever was going to a Miami Fusion game way back in the day, and it wasn't even at Lockhart Stadium. They played a few games at the Orange Bowl, and I can even remember before the Miami Fusion 4, the Columbus Crew 3. And I remember just being oddly like fascinated by the whole thing. I thought it was amazing, and I was still very young back then, and unfortunately the Fusion were folded not too long after that. But it kind of just started a whole love affair for me. I remember a little bit about the 02 World Cup, but the 06 World Cup is where things really started launching off for me. And also being a fan of the U.S. national team has really cultivated that. I got big into club football back in 07, 08 when I became a fan of Manchester United. So you're going to see a United. Yeah, where David Beckham is going to be a lot part of that conversation because obviously he first made his name at Manchester United. Alongside that in the U.S. national team, especially being part of the American Outlaws Miami chapter, which I helped founded back in 2013.
Explain to people what that is, because a lot of people don't know what that is.
They're a supporters club for the U.S., mainly the men's, but also the women's national team. And I helped found the chapter here in Miami with a few people who are now Siege members. And there is a direct correlation to a lot of the people who supported the U.S. national team and were part of AO Miami. And then when Beckham announced that he was interested in founding a club here in MLS, a lot of people were very, very interested in that and wanted that. But even before that, for me, I used to work in sports myself. I came down here to Miami. I was looking for a way into the industry. I was looking for a job in the industry, and I was like, what are the two sports that I love, football and soccer? I eventually did work some games for a few seasons for the Dolphins, and football will always be my first love. I even played football here down here, high school football, but soccer just increasingly became more and more like something I loved, something I adored, right? So let me pause you there for 1 second, because you talked about these fusion games at the Orange Bowl. And so the number one thing I get when I ask somebody, how did you fall in love with the team or going to your first experience as a game, is they say the atmosphere. So let me start like that fusion game at the Orange Bowl. Like, what was the atmosphere like? Because when I think of soccer in America, especially back then, I don't think it's as big unless you have a big name person on the field or a team that's coming to play an exhibition game. Why? Like, was the atmosphere crazy? What was the atmosphere like? So the thing is that the Fusion were originally supposed to play at the Orange Bowl. Like, that was the original ground floor draft plan, that they would play at the Orange Bowl alongside the Hurricanes before they left. And they would really try to hit into that Central American, South American community. Obviously, the Orange Bowl being in Little Havana, being part of the Miami backdrop, everyone thought it's like, oh, like you're not going to get Cubans to go, you're not going to get like native Miamians to go, but maybe you'll get like that Central American, South American immigrant community to go. Unfortunately, they were not able to hit on that well because of some disagreements they had with the city. So eventually, they had to move north all the way to Fort Lauderdale to Lockhart. Tell me if this sounds familiar. And they weren't really able to hit on that, because I can tell you that in those games in the Orange Bowl, they played like a few, I think 2 or 3. I think they got upwards to like 20, 25, 30,000 people.
Wow.
Was that more of a novelty factor? Was it more of like, oh, like, let's go check that out, it's close by? Or was it really hitting on something that could have been massive had it been given the chance? And the problem was that the league at the time, MLS, was not in a good spot at the time. And then the owner, Ken Horowitz, and a lot of people say it's attendance. That's not the truth. They had their best attendance their last year, 11,000 a game, which is not very far from what Inter Miami's had so far, obviously because of COVID. But what they could have been, we'll never know. What they could have been is pretty darn big, and we could have had this, what we have now, much earlier. You could have had your possible second generation of Miami Fusion fans, or whatever they would have been called, already, instead of having your first generation of Inter Miami fans.
So, so you look at, I don't mean to interrupt. So you look at we're coming up on a break here. So real quick,
no worries.
You look at Inter Miami fans, and you look at Miami fans, period. Right. And there's a very South American, Latino, Cuban culture that's in the Miami area. Does that play a factor in soccer being as big as it is in the Miami area, or bringing a team to the MLS? Because when I look at it, I'm like, why wasn't there already a team here? Because I feel like there should have been already a team here long before David Beckham brought one.
It's really about like the conditions on the ground, like the market environment. MLS was gun ho in expanding between 2007 up until this year, literally, and even until the next few years. They've literally almost had a team every single year. Wow. The biggest issue is that the Miami stigma was there. They had multiple issues with the Miami market. One was stadium issues, because obviously the Fusion played at Lockhart, which is in Fort Lauderdale, and then 2, the Marlins Parks fiasco really made them kind of worry. And then also ownership. So they needed an owner who was willing to take up that flag. And we will discuss that, because there's a lot more story here. So if we go to break, like, we can keep going from there, because there's a lot to talk about.
Dude, we're going to end up having to do 2 shows with you, because there's just so much to talk about, which I'm fine with, because I enjoyed our conversations on the phone, and I like you correcting me when I say something wrong, because look, I want to learn. I want to be a fan. I want this thing to grow, because I think soccer is such a big, it's what the fastest growing sport in America over the last 10 years. And
after 20, actually.
Yeah. I mean, so I want to see more of that coming in. So look, what we're going to do right now is we're going to get ready to go to a break. Before we do, what I want to remind everybody, hey, look, Heat basketball is in full swing. The playoffs are here, right? Playoffs unfortunately lost game 1 on Saturday by 2 points, but that's okay, because I think they played a good game, and I think they're going to be in it with the number 3 seed, the Bucks. But just remember, every Monday, the Heat and NBA fans can catch the best hour of basketball talk when Ethan and Ira host the Palette Rack City Inside the Paint show. Listen to 2 of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans, OnSideRadio.com. They had the show today at 10 o'clock. What I want you guys to remember is you guys can go download it. Go check it out. It was a great show today. It's a 1-hour show. You guys go check it out, because all they did was talk about game 1 of the NBA playoffs between the Heat and the Bucks. So I want you guys to go check that out. We're going to come back. We're going to talk with Max. Max, you're going to correct me and school me a little bit more. We're going to learn about the history of soccer in Miami, and we're going to learn more about the Siege, okay? We'll be right back on OnSide Radio, Miami sports music for the fans.
You're listening to the home for South Florida sports fans. OnSideRadio.com. Stephen D and Miami sports music for the fans returns in just a few minutes. Get off the bench. Dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. This is Miami sports music.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAsDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody Ass family. Dr. Moody Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAsDental.com.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami fans, time to find out more about your favorite soccer team with OnSideRadio.com's IMCF Football Focus. Here's Austin Robillard.
For the first time this season, Inter Miami ended a road trip with a loss on their record. They were unbeaten on the road up to this point, but on Saturday night, the Chicago Fire at Soldier Field, despite the support from La Familia, were too much to handle. Inter Miami came out the game looking very uninspired and very lackluster, and Chicago took advantage of them and actually ended the game with 20 total shots. The one goal that they had that made the game end 1-0 was an absolute howler from John McCarthy, and the game honestly could have ended 0-0 if that was just a simple save made.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search OnSide Radio. Welcome back to Miami Sports Music for the Fans. To talk to Stephen D, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. To reach out on the text line, it's 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Stephen D on your home for South Florida sports fans around the world. OnSideRadio.com.
That's right. What's going on, guys? It is your boy, Stephen D, and I am super excited to be hanging out with you guys. Look, what I want you guys to remember is every day from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., my good friend, my main man, Mr. Alex Dono, is on from 3 to 6 every day, the man of the match. So I want you guys to make sure you guys go check that out. If you miss any of the show today, and he had a great show this afternoon, you guys can go download it. You know how you guys go do that? You guys go do that right here. You go download the show. So make sure you guys do that. What I want you guys to also do right now, I need your help. I need you to hit that like button. So what I need you guys to stop doing right now is hit the like button, share with all your friends, let everybody know we're the number one place to get that fan interaction one-on-one at is with me and a guy like the guy I have on today, Mr. Max Ramos. Max, man, you having fun?
I'm having a blast. I actually have a question here from Cap for Life.
Go ahead. Ask away.
Cap. Pretty much, I can tell you that the one reason or the main reason you'll never see Inter become like the Marlins is because the ownership group and the management won't allow it to. You won't have apathetic or gosh, I don't even want to talk about Jeffrey Loria ever. That you don't in Jorge Mas and David Beckham and Marcelo Calade, you don't have individuals who put in money just to make money. They're here to win. They're here to succeed. Hiring guys like Phil Neville and Chris Henderson shows how serious they are. Yep. Because Chris Henderson, if you guys don't know, obviously Phil Neville the much bigger name in the offseason acquisitions in terms of.
I'm about to say, I know Neville. I knew that name as soon as they got him.
Yeah. But Chris Henderson was the one I was very excited about. Obviously, Phil, I'm a Man United fan. I obviously know about him and his brother Gary. But Chris Henderson was the biggest acquisition because he basically has helped construct the Seattle Sounders dynasty. If you don't know anything about the Sounders, they've won MLS Cup 3 times. They've won a bunch of U.S. Open Cups, which is our version of the FA Cup.
Hey, I know their atmosphere there is insane. I've seen some games on ESPN there, and it's like I've never seen anything like that. Their games are ridiculously great.
Yeah, and Chris was part of that process to help build them into something. Right now, honestly, you could say they are the best team in the league. They tied against Atlanta, but in the grand scheme of things, they are the best team. They've been the most consistent team in the league since they started back in 2009. And they've done so without really ever signing like a global superstar. They've signed some good players, but no one of like a David Beckham or a Zlatan Ibrahimovic or a Chicharito Hernandez. They've never signed anyone like that. They've hired good, consistent players who may have been good in Europe, but not like the massive names that have been associated with other MLS teams, yet they have been literally the most successful team in that time. So if Chris Henderson can bring that with a little bit of the David Beckham swagger and Miami flair and the ability to sign bigger players, I do believe that eventually this club will be massive in the ways that we want it to be.
All right. Look, again, I totally think we're going to have to do 2 shows because I have so many questions about how like transfers work and how all that works within the soccer, the divisions and regulation. And, will MLS ever get to something like that? Or is that just right now we're just trying to grab the competition from overseas and trying to make our league as successful it can be with the best competition it can be? Answer that second part. As far as the competition is concerned from the league, where's MLS stack up to the rest of the leagues in the world? And I know we're not, Champions League or anything like that, but I like to think that MLS is getting better, and they have gotten better year in and year out, especially over the last 5 to 7 years.
So the 2 biggest things that most people talk about or 3, is obviously competition level, attendance, and then TV rating. So when it comes to competition, I've heard from people like commentators from England and from Europe, like if you're going to get a good equivalency in terms of skill level, you're probably talking about the English Championship, which is the level below the English Premier League. So that's pretty much what it is, and a lot of that has to do with the overall like gradual increase in money being spent on players and also the skill level of the players being scouted and such. So that's pretty good considering how old MLS is. It's barely old enough to like rent a car. So I'm not joking. It was created in '96, and the thing is that a lot of people were like, well, why is it not as good as Europe? Because like a lot of the teams in Europe are almost 130 years old. So it's like
or more.
A little bit of time. Yeah. And then when it comes to like attendance rating, attendance numbers, MLS is already number 10 in the world. So that tells you, obviously that attendance figure is very much helped by teams like Seattle, like Atlanta. Because
no, it's not out of 10, right? I'm just messing.
There are more nations in FIFA than there are in the United Nations.
That's what I've learned over the last couple of years is that it's just, I look, everybody's like they want the big name, right? And for the longest time that I knew, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, Max, I feel like those big name players, they come to the MLS at the end of their careers. But now I'd like to think that some of these mid-level players are like, you know what? I can go over to the MLS, make a name for myself in the prime of my career, and actually kind of do something. Do you agree with that statement? Is that a fair statement to make?
Yeah. And what has really happened is there's been kind of a shift away from the European like aging superstar to more of like they're looking more like South America, Latin America for a lot of their player acquisitions, playing style, and everything. You're seeing a lot more like younger in their early 20s or even their mid 20s players coming and either getting so good here that they get signed by a European team, or they're just making a lot of money here. Like things work out for them in the end. I think the best example I can top of my head is Miguel Almiron. He used to play at Atlanta United, and then he balled out there and now signed for Newcastle. Been there for a few years, and he's playing in the Premier League. Like, there's really not much more you can ask for. And the thing is that MLS, where it is right now, and they admit it, they're a selling league. Instead of being a buying league, they're a selling league. The best example I can show in American sports is like the Yankees are a buying club. They buy the best players from the smaller teams like the Marlins.
Whereas the Marlins are a selling club. We know.
We know. But MLS as a whole in the soccer ecosystem is a selling league, which is a healthy thing to be, because that means that you're making as much money or more so on players than you are paying them, which is kind of the best case scenario right now.
Well, then let me. This is a great conversation, and I already know I'm going to have you on again, because there's just way too many things to talk about, Max. I look at that. Number one, I've never heard anything described like that. So that was a great analogy, and it makes me totally get the concept of
there you go.
Where MLS is at compared to the rest of the league. Now, what I do
want to on fixing it, you were saying DMLS. I was like trying not to do that.
Hey, correct me. Like, Max, I have already said to the masses, I am uneducated compared to you. Please educate me. I will not take it rude. I want you to beat me down, and you can look. I'm okay. I am nobody. I want you to fix me, Max. That's what I want you to do.
No worries.
And there's a lot of fixing if you ask my wife. So be careful what you wish for. Real quick, guys. We only have 8 likes. We definitely have more than 8 people watching on YouTube. I need you guys to go hit that like button right now. Help us out, man. That helps our channel grow, and that's what we're trying to do at OnSide Radio. Look, what I want to the next question I wanted to ask then is, in watching Ted Lasso, and I'm sorry I'm bringing that up.
I love that show. I have no qualms talking about it.
So one of the things that at the end, they got regulated at the end of season 1. No spoiler alerts. Sorry, guys. If you haven't seen it already, you're missing out then. But they got regulated at the end of season 1. And so I think about teams that get regulated over in Europe, and I feel like, all right, I'm a Dolphins fan. And if the Dolphins ever went down a league, I feel like they would lose all the fans, because that's just not something that happens in the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at, that's just something that is there. And these teams in these cities in Europe, it doesn't matter what league they're in. That is their team. They're in love with them. It does not matter what league they're in. They want to get to the top. They want to be there, but it really doesn't matter because they're in love with the team. So how does that kind of compare to, you look at Inter Miami CF, you look at, Atlanta, you look at, Seattle Sounders, stuff like that. How does that compare to that? MLS is eventually going to get bigger. There are 14 teams right now, right?
28.
So there's 14 in our conference.
This year, I think it's on an even 9. I think we may be on an odd number. I think we're at 29. Yeah. It's like half and half, probably 14, 15 each one to.
We're 14. I'm looking at. I knew what I was saying, because we were last time I looked, we were 7th, but now we're 9th in the standings. But everybody's within, they're right there.
Thankfully,
within,
one win changes a lot of things for us. It's kind of amazing.
But help me out with the question I'm trying to ask here, because I don't know quite how to ask it. How do you build that level of loyalty with fans where something like regulation or not having players here for, I can't, if I'm a Dolphins fan, I fall in love with Tua Tagovailoa, or I fell in love with Dan Marino. I don't think you can really fall in love with a fan of a soccer team here, because they're going to be gone eventually. So how do you create that love chemistry between the fan and the team?
Oh, well, you could do the same thing as in college sports. Like in the University of Miami, any guy who balls out, he's not there after 3 years at most, right? Yep. It's the best example. Obviously, with soccer, you can have the ability to have a player there for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. In MLS, and you do have that in MLS, but you do also want those guys who eventually, if you get a young guy like a Julian Carranza who gets an offer in Italy or in Spain or in England, you got to say, yeah, go kid, go over and go do the thing, go make big money and go win those leagues that obviously are the most watched in the world. So inspiring love and everything in the end has to come down to the club and a consistent culture of winning or at least let's start off with competence and then winning and then going from there.
Okay. All right. We're about to hit a commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about this. I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but you might have to come on for a second day because there's just way too much to talk about with this.
Absolutely.
Hey, look, guys, this has been a great show. What I want to remind everybody to remember is Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m., baseball fans can go deep in the count. They can go deep in the account with Alex and Christian, Cash a show that talks Marlins and all big stories in the major leagues. Every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., Seam Heads have a new home. Listen deep into the count exclusively on OnSide Radio.
Music for the fans. To reach out to Stephen D, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Miami sports music for the fans. The only show truly dedicated to the Miami fans.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat Rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in. As long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At OnSide Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At ChaseRoofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. ChaseRoofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust ChaseRoofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
Over the weekend, the Florida Panthers lost to the Lightning 6-2. Panthers are now on the brink of elimination tonight, and with both goalies struggling, who will Coach Q place in the net? Game 5 is tonight. Puck drops at 8 p.m. The Miami Heat lost 109-107 on a late overtime field goal by Chris Middleton on Saturday to go down 1-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Ron Dragic led the Heat with 25 points. Game 2 tips off tonight at 7:30 p.m. The Miami Marlins won the weekend series with the Mets after a 5-1 win yesterday. Cody Poteet got the win, pitching 7 shutout innings. The Marlins welcome the Phillies to Lone Depot Park tonight for a 4-game series. Trevor Rogers is on the mound for your pitch. First pitch is at 7:10. Inter Miami CF lost to the Chicago Fire FC 1-0 on Saturday. This Saturday, they welcome DC United and a full capacity crowd to Drive Pink Stadium for an 8 p.m. start. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station, OnSideRadio.com.
Welcome back to Miami Sports Music for the Fans. To reach out to Stephen D, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's the man connecting with Miami sports fans worldwide, Stephen D.
That's right. Stephen D in the building. I'm super excited to be hanging out with y'all on this Monday afternoon here on May the 24th, 2021. Look, I'm having a great time talking some Inter Miami CF, and I'm having a great time talking with my man Maximilian because, I mean, number one, just a great guy. Number two, just a great conversation. I'm learning about the history of soccer in Miami. I'm learning about the game. I'm learning about the team. And so without further ado, let me bring the man back in. Max, man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you having fun, man. This has been pretty good.
Yeah, man, I'm having a great time. This is awesome.
Awesome. Well, look, man, we were in the break talking to each other, so I might as well just tell everybody now, there's way too much to talk about. So I moved some stuff around. I'm having you on again tomorrow because there's just way too much to talk about, and I feel like what I need to do is I want to give you your just due to be able to talk about the club, but also talk about the game.
Yeah.
And obviously being the home of Inter Miami CF, I think it's only right that I give you the proper time, a lot of time to be able to explain everything in great detail. So I appreciate you coming out tomorrow. So we're going to have part 2 tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out. Also, we're at 8 likes. I want to get to 10. I need you guys to go hit that like button. Max, tell them what they need to do right now.
I go do what I just did. Like it.
Like it.
Yep, just did it myself.
Right. Awesome, man. All right, so let's kind of hit the rewind here. We got a little bit of time before we go to our last break here. Let's talk about I want to finish up the conversation that we were just talking about, having fans being able to fall in love with players, and that, MLS is a selling league, not necessarily a buying league.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing. Miami has had their fair share of history of franchises in this city when it comes to soccer. Mm-hmm. And, they've seen, obviously nobody's lasted. So why is Inter Miami CF going to be a team that lasts? And what are some things that they're doing now? Because you've been to games, and obviously COVID impacted everything. So I'm sure that there are a lot of things that they still want to do that they just haven't rolled out the red carpet for yet. But what are some things that make going to an Inter Miami CF game different compared to anywhere else in the country? And then also, if you've never been to an Inter Miami CF game before, what are people missing?
So to answer your first thing about what makes Inter Miami different from other soccer teams that have been here, I think the main thing is a sense of permanence. The team has set up an amazing training facility. If you ever get a chance to drive up to Fort Lauderdale just to drive by and see it, it's fantastic. I've been inside it. I've done a tour. I've been on the field. Maybe the best grass I've ever literally had. And
it's a temporary facility, which is crazy.
Well, it's the stadium is temporary for Inter Miami itself, but the training facility will be permanent, and it is the home of our USL League One reserve team, Fort Lauderdale CF. And then also another thing that the team has done that is very different from other teams in South Florida and other sports in general is setting up the academy. Basically, right now they cater to young men between the ages of, I believe it's 7 up to 16, 17, 18. Pretty much they want to become a pathway to the pros or to a college scholarship for South Florida soccer players. And what they do is that they've scouted every rec league and every youth league from Homestead to Jupiter, basically saying, if you're good enough, in our opinion, to play, you should be able to. without having to worry about paying for it. And obviously playing for an MLS club it gets you to the top of the list of a lot of things, gets you noticed by a lot of scouts, by college coaches, by foreign coaches, and it just gets people ahead of those kids and their families get an opportunity that maybe didn't exist beforehand. Due to a lot of issues with the youth system in the United States. So that sense of permeance and locking in players and supporters from such an early age is really, really the biggest thing to me that's going to be the longest lasting effect of Inter Miami starting right now. And then when it comes to games, like you're never going to see a game in South Florida where the fans affect the atmosphere as much as you do in an Inter Miami game. Obviously, the Siege, we are part of La Familia, so that is us. That is Vice City 1896, and that's Southern Legion, and those kind of things. The things that we do in the North Stand really make it that much more special, because in football and baseball and basketball, unfortunately, a lot of the atmosphere is created by artificial noise, screens. Announcers telling the crowd to get amped up. We don't really need to do that, even though we do have an amazing announcer in the stadium, Mike Marinetti. He's fantastic, but a lot of the noise comes from the fans themselves, and the music comes from the fans themselves. And we have smoke, which you don't see at games in other sports. We have flags. Everyone every other person seems to have a flag. Like, you don't see the pageantry in soccer in any other game. Like you'll see here in this photo, that's just us, and we're 20 something people. And when you have that middle section filled up to 200, 300 people, it makes a lot of noise. And on television, it sounds amazing. And then in person, it's enthralling.
Dude, I got to come out for a game, man.
You got to come out. Hey, Saturday, first home game with full capacity against DC United. And our first night game of the year too. It's going to be an amazing time.
You know, it's funny because, I live up here in the Maryland area, so I go down to Miami as often as I can for business stuff and doing stuff with Miami sports music, and now hopefully OnSide Radio. But one of the things that I find pretty entertaining for me, just as a fan of soccer, is here's the reality, right? My first introduction to MLS, and you're going to laugh, and a lot of people are going to laugh at me because I know I have some real soccer fans on this, was Freddie Adu. Like that was my first introduction, was when he came to the DC United. And I felt like it was a publicity stunt. And looking back on it now, I'm probably not wrong to a certain extent, although he's turned out to be a really good soccer player. Would you agree with that? Would you disagree with that? And then my second question, 1A, is David Beckham just a name drawn here to bring in fans to have that name in front of Inter Miami CF? Or is he really going to make an impact in helping this team grow? Like, what do you see in both of those things?
Hey, man, sorry. The stream buzzed out for a second. Can you repeat the question? I do apologize.
No, you're fine. So looking at people like Freddie Adu being like publicity stunts, although I think that he's turned out to have a pretty decent career in soccer. And then you look at, somebody like, David Beckham being a part of the face of this franchise, although he's not playing. Is he just somebody here to try to put butts in the seats? Hey, David Beckham's here. Or is this something where he's really going to make an impact in helping this team grow and helping this franchise grow in the city itself?
So Freddie Adu, that's a whole nother story for another day. I can go into depth with that one. David Beckham obviously came to the U.S. Playing for Real Madrid and was finishing his time there. Came over to the LA Galaxy and really changed the face of the league from just another mishap. It felt like a mishap attempt at American Pro League to something more serious. And the league has literally grown from the moment he stepped on the pitch there. And here he's not just a nice face to look at. He does involve himself in the day-to-day operations, especially this year. Last year, obviously, there was multiple things in the way. Like, he didn't know if he needed to be that involved, and also COVID prevented him from even being here. So this year, partly because of what happened last year and the way the season went, but also because he had the ability to actually come more often, he's involved himself much more in the day-to-day and the overall philosophy and operations of the club. Obviously, having a longtime friend in Phil Neville as the head manager really, really helps. Him and Phil can probably talk to each other a bit more earnestly than he may have been able to with Diego Alonso. And he's not just here to show for show. He does take a personal stake in it. It does personally affect him, and he said so as much, but also like in his conversations with him, not personally like him and I in a room, but like in fan forums.
I mean, if you do, let me know because I want to get in touch with the guy.
No, I'm not the guy to talk to about that.
I'm about to say I might as well talk to Big O and everybody. Hey, real quick, because I want you to finish up this comment, and we're about to hit a commercial break, and I want to be able to touch on what we're going to talk about tomorrow, which is about the siege, which I'm really excited to talk about that in more detail, and also just how that all kind of came to be. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take our last commercial break. What I want to remind everybody is from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on Miami Sports Music's YouTube channel. I have my morning show, Clock Blockers. I want you guys to go check that out. Go to Miami Sports Music YouTube channel, and every day from Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. we have a morning show up there. I have different guests up there. A lot of people that are fans, because guess what? Miami Sports Music is something that was made for the fans by the fans. So make sure you guys go check that out. All right. We'll be right back after our last break here. And when we come back, we're just going to probably just shoot what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And I'm going to have you finish that last thought of what you were just talking about there. All right, Max?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds good. Go ahead, man.
You're listening to Miami Sports Music for the fans. To reach out to Stephen D, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Miami Sports Music for the fans. The only show truly dedicated to the Miami fans.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in. As long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by: never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnSideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Alex Aguirre.
The Marlins continue to keep things close in the NL East after taking 2 out of 3 from the NL East leading New York Mets and winning yesterday 5-1. Cody Poteet continues to shine and make a case for himself as a mainstay in the rotation after pitching 7 shutout innings and striking out 4. Pablo Lopez and Cody going 7 innings on Saturday and Sunday was much needed for the Fish after using 10 pitchers on Friday. All the offense in yesterday's game was in the second inning as the lineup made quick work against former Marlin Jordan Yamamoto as he surrendered 4 runs in 4 innings pitched. Cody Poteet also collected his first big league hit and RBI in that second inning 5-run rally. The Marlins are hosting a very important 4-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies starting today, and Philadelphia is coming into the series second in the division but only half a game in front of Miami. Let's see if the Marlins can repeat their performance in Philly last week, taking 2 out of 3 and continue their climb in the standings. First pitch is at 7:10. Let's go Fish.
Keep up with the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching OnSide Radio. Let's get back to Miami sports music for the fans. You can send Stephen D a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Stephen D and Miami sports music for the fans.
That's right. It's your boy Stephen D right here on Miami Sports Music for the Fans, right here only and exclusively on OnSide Radio. We only got a couple of minutes left, so look, there was way too much to talk about. It was funny because some of the people on my team, when I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I got some soccer people that I'm going to get on the show. Shout out to Big O for hooking this up. Big O, hope you're feeling better, brother. I know you're probably listening out there. He had some surgery, man, so hopefully he's feeling a lot better and taking it easy. But there was just so much to talk about that we're going to have to do a second show tomorrow. And Absolutely. Max made a joke to me in a text like, man, maybe we should just start a podcast. And I was like, look, I got 2 shows already. When I can figure out how to breathe with 2, we'll definitely make that happen because I enjoy working with you, and I think you know your stuff, man. So real quick, man, because we only got like 2 minutes left. I got to ask you about your Twitter handle, Inter Miami Noel. What's that about, bro?
All right, so obviously Inter Miami, where we've been talking about it. Noel is my other sporting love, Florida State, my alma mater.
Oh,
yep.
Oh. You know what? I think I double booked for tomorrow. I'm gonna have to reschedule you.
Oh, good, man. No worries. No, it's if you're gonna talk to me about anything else other than soccer, it'd probably be college football. I can talk for days about that too. No, it's my first love. While soccer is the sexy hot girl who moved to Miami, and I'm like, oh, here we are. It's fine. I get it. My entire family is.
I'm gonna have to play a song tomorrow that Solo D made. I don't know if you're familiar with the Honorable Solo D, but if you're not, he's got a song called FS Who? FS Who? So yeah, I'm gonna have to play that for you tomorrow.
No
Look,
worries.
where can people find all this stuff for the Siege? Because we're gonna talk a lot about the Siege tomorrow. I got the stuff up here, the Twitter handles and stuff like that.
Yeah, basically anything on social media, it's Siege Miami. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we just are. We're an open door to anybody who wants to join and be a passionate fan, talk about the team, love the team, and go to away games. A bunch of us went to Chicago. Some of us went to Philly. I'm planning to go several more this year because I find away games equally, if not more fun than home games, because there's something special about repping your city, repping your team in another place, and being like, yeah, like I'm here for this one reason, and I want you to know about it. I want you to know about it, and and hopefully win like we did in Philly. The Philly win, that was an amazing feeling to walk out of that place with a comeback like we did that night.
All right. Well, look, man, we're going to set this thing up again tomorrow. So I need you to tell all your crew at the Siege and everybody else who follows you that we're going to be on from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow right here. We're going to do it again. We're going to hit the replay button. We're going to have a good time. And this time we're going to talk a little bit more about the team itself in Inter Miami CF as well as the Siege support.
Absolutely.
So I'm super stoked about both those things, man. I appreciate you coming on today. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. And make sure you follow my man at Inter Miami No. We're going to have to change that. We're going to have to bring him over.
Nope, that's not happening.
All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I got 12 likes. I'd love to get to 15 before the end of today. So make sure you guys hit that like button. And look, if you guys missed any of this episode, you guys can look up right here, and you guys can download the show wherever it is you download podcasts. And also make sure you check out all the podcasts of all the shows on OnSide Radio, from Kai's Corner to the Man of the Match to Toasted Sports, all those great shows. Make sure you guys can download them. And it was a pleasure, man. I look forward to it. So tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, Miami Sports Music's for the fans, by the fans. We'll see you tomorrow. Fins up. Is there some for Inter Miami? Do they have like a saying like fins up?
Vamos Miami or Vamos Rosa Negra.
Vamos Miami. Vamos. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Floridians must prepare for sweltering heat, summer rainy seasons, and aggressive nature. And of course, hurricane season. That's why when it comes to protection,